Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and the dark day has come for me to declutter my palettes. Palettes are definitely my weakness. I have a ridiculous palette collection. I actually did a palette collection video, well, 2 videos. It took 2 videos to go through my entire palette collection, which is why I'm not doing a typical declutter video. Usually when I declutter, I spread out all the products on the floor, I go through them one by one, and I kind of tell you why I'm keeping them or why I'm going to declutter them, and that's just really not feasible for this video. It would take hours to go through my entire collection and talk about each palette and tell you why I'm keeping it or why I'm getting rid of it. The fact is, I'm keeping the majority of my palettes. I think I have 17 here that I've decided to pass on. I don't dislike all of them. In fact, there are some here that I really do like the quality and the performance of them. They're just not getting used, and there's no point in keeping them in storage. So all of these things will get passed on to family and friends, or they will be donated. A lot of the things I'm choosing to declutter are face palettes. I honestly just don't reach for face palettes that often. I like picking and choosing my face products and mixing them, so face palettes aren't really something that I use a lot. There are a few exceptions. My Lorac Pirates of the Caribbean cheek palette is one that I travel with. I use that a lot, and I do make use of all the shades in that palette. That's the main problem for me for face palettes, is I typically only like 1 to maybe 3 of the products in there. These are a few of the face palettes that I am decluttering from my collection today. I'm just gonna breeze through them really quickly and show them to you and tell you why I am not keeping them in my collection. This one is from Models Prefer. It has 3 highlighters in it. I've never even touched it. I'm not huge on cream highlighters, so since it's been sitting here for so long untouched, it's just gonna move on to a home where it will be loved. Another untouched palette, this is from CoverGirl. It's a cream contour palette, and they sent this to me, but they sent the shade medium, and I definitely think this is gonna be too dark for me, so this will be passed on, again, to somebody who can actually make use of it. Another highlighting palette, this one's from Cargo. This is the Picture Perfect Illuminating Palette, and this one is nice. I don't have anything against this. I'm just really not making use of it, so it's time for it to go. I have 2 concealer palettes here. I'm not a fan of concealer palettes. I think they're more useful for makeup artists. These are not useful for me. Plus, they're so big. This is taking up way too much space for a concealer, just in my life. This is the Camouflage 101 palette from Pop Beauty. I do think that this packaging is really, really cute. Again, it's just not useful for me. It's too big. It's gotta go. This is the Conceal palette from Profusion. Same reason, I've never even touched this one. It's just, this doesn't work for me, for my life, so hopefully it'll work for someone else. This big giant palette is from Smashbox. I think this was maybe from their holiday collection last year. It's a face palette, but it's mainly blushes. It's humongous. I do think this palette is really nice. It has a beautiful mirror. The packaging's really nice. I do like the shades. I like the powders. It's just so big. I never pull it out of the drawer to use it. It's way too bulky and heavy to travel with. It's just not practical for my life. It's not practical. Sort of for the same reason, I'm getting rid of these 2 Gorgeous Cosmetics palettes. One is an eyeshadow palette and one is a contouring palette. These powders are super pigmented. They're really, really soft. They're really nice to work with. They're just so big. They're so heavy. I'm not reaching for them. I'm not traveling with them. I'm just not using them. And I think somebody else should use them because these are high quality products. They're just not getting used by me. So you deserve to be loved. I do have a couple of lip palettes that I'm also going to declutter. The first is this Runway Ready lip palette from e.l.f. I made a video about this palette, and I said in that video that I really like this, which I do really like these lip products. I like the shades in here. I like the brush. I really think this is a great lip palette if you like lip palettes. I will say this one's nice because it's very compact. It has a useful mirror. It has a good lip brush. If you're going to buy a lip palette, I do like this one. I think you can kind of tell I have used this one quite a bit. It's just been sitting untouched for a while. I'm just not using it. When I do my lips, I'm reaching for an individual lip color and not a palette. Speaking of lip palettes, let's talk about these two big old palettes from Pop Beauty. First is this massive lip palette. It has every lip color. I have never opened it. I've never used it because this, again, I think this is better for a makeup artist. If you're somebody that needs a whole lot of lip colors and you need them to be portable, then hey, this is great. But that's not me. This just does not fit my life. Again, comes with a lip brush. And since this hasn't been touched, this is the perfect thing to pass on, to donate. I feel the same way about this eyeshadow palette. These eyeshadows are pretty good considering the price point on these. These are not very expensive. This is an entirely shimmer palette. It's called the Copper Popper palette. These tones are beautiful. I love this orange, coppery, bronzy goodness in here, but I'm not using it, guys, and somebody else can, so. This one will also be passed along. This one's still in the box. This is from Paula's Choice. It's the 4 Mattes and a Glam palette. I've never even opened this. I don't even know what this looks like inside, so I feel pretty comfortable passing it along as well. The next palette that's moving out of my collection is this Nude Rose palette from BH Cosmetics. I do like the packaging on this. It very much reminds me of the Naked 3 from Urban Decay. It has that like tin packaging and it's rose gold. I think the shades in here are really wearable. These just didn't have great pigmentation. I only used this a few times. I was not very happy with how it swatched or how it applied to the eyes. I think if you're somebody who likes a really toned down eye look, then this is probably something that's gonna work for you. It's just not my favorite. I don't need it. Another nude eyeshadow palette. Look how pretty that is. This is the Barely There palette from Model Zone. This one does have a pretty similar shade selection to the Nude Rose palette from BH Cosmetics. I did find the pigmentation with these to be a lot better. I actually like this palette. I just have so many nude eyeshadow palettes that I reach for ahead of this one. So I'm gonna pass this on. I actually have a friend in mind to give this to. I definitely think that these Model Zone palettes are really nice. I have another one that I decided to keep in my collection just because I felt the shades were more unique. So I do think this one's nice. It's just very redundant in my collection, so I'm gonna give this to a friend. Here's another one that I wasn't really happy with the pigmentation on. This is the Revolution Eye Palette from Pure. The shades in here are nice. This is a cute little palette. The packaging's nice. I just wasn't really happy with how this performed. I think I used this in a first impressions video and it was just meh. Hopefully somebody else will love it more than I did. This is the Fairy Fuchsia palette from Coastal Scents. I made a video about this palette and I really like it. It's just that same age-old problem of I have these shades 100 times over in my collection, and when I'm looking for these kind of nude mauve-y tones, I'm reaching for my MAC shadows, I'm reaching for my ColourPop shadows, and this palette kind of just gets left behind. I think this will find a good home with somebody and it will be well used and well loved. I think these shadows are nice. They're just not getting used with me, so it's time to move on. Last but not least, this NYX palette. This is the Ultimate palette. It's in the shade Smokescreen. It has a lot of blue and purple shades in it. I've never used this and I'm never gonna use it. I'm just gonna admit that to myself and pass this along. These shades are just, I'm never gonna put them on my eyeballs. So I love NYX, I love my NYX eyeshadows, but it's simply just a matter of these shades aren't gonna do it for me. I know that decluttering these 16 or 17 palettes probably doesn't seem like that much considering the huge palette collection that I have, but it's a start. It's hard for me to part with my palettes. I'm very like nostalgic about them. Maybe that's silly, I don't know, but it's the truth. I think this is a great place to start letting go of palettes. as new ones come in, I will continue to declutter. Either way, I'm really happy with my progress. I'm happy to free up some space in my Alex drawers, and I know that these palettes will be used and loved by somebody who can appreciate them more than I can. I found an outreach organization here in Virginia that will accept my makeup. I'm gonna sanitize all of it. This is the last in my declutter series. So now I have 3 big boxes of makeup to donate. I'm so happy about that. If you declutter your makeup or any of your household items, I really encourage you to find somewhere to donate those items to. Just imagine giving a second life to something that's collecting dust in your house. It could mean the world to somebody else. There is an organization that will accept lightly used makeup. I'm gonna place a link to their website in the description box. Please check it out. If you're thinking of decluttering your collection or you have things that you're ready to move off your vanity, please check them out. It really is a great cause. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Face products, face palettes. Ugh, can't even get a shot of it. This is the most awkward thing that I've ever done. Is this runway. Ooh, I'm distracted. I'm getting distracted by the rainbows. Oh, it's happening. That's another reason to declutter. It's too distracting. One. Thank you so... Crushed it. Ironically, not wearing a palette, but wearing a bunch of single eyeshadows today. Amanda, pull it together. Whoop, whoop. Also, for any of you who stick around to the end, I just want you to know a sneaky secret. There were at least 5 eyeshadow palettes that I have received as gifts from companies that I had already purchased. And I'm talking about good stuff, like Too Faced, Tarte, The Balm. Oh yeah, those went into the giveaway drawer. So I didn't list those in my declutter. Oh no, no. There are some really, really good giveaways coming up. Really good. Follow me on Instagram. You'll find out.